The evening was cold, and the small restaurant at the corner of Maple Street was almost full. People were laughing, sharing food, and enjoying time with their families. But in one corner, near the window, a lonely man sat alone. His name was Marcus, a black single dad, and this was the most difficult day of his week. Marcus looked tired. His eyes showed a long story, maybe of pain, maybe of love, or maybe both. In front of him was only one plate of food. He moved it slowly with his spoon, but he was not really hungry. He was only thinking too much. Every Friday, Marcus came to this restaurant. Not to eat, but to feel something he was missing. A year ago, the same place was full of his laughter. His little daughter, Mia, used to sit in front of him, making silly jokes, smiling with her tiny teeth. But everything changed when life took a turn he never expected. His daughter now lived far away with her mother, and Marcus was left with quiet evenings and empty tables. People around him were happy. Families were celebrating birthdays, couples were talking softly, kids were running around. And Marcus felt like he didn't belong to this world anymore. He sighed and whispered to himself, "Maybe I'm meant to eat alone, always." He didn't say it with anger. He said it with acceptance. Like a man who stopped fighting life a long time ago. Marcus took a sip of water and looked outside the window. Cars passed, people walked, life moved on. But inside him, everything felt stuck. Then something unusual happened. The door of the restaurant opened, and the warm air rushed inside. A young woman entered with a small boy, almost 6 or 7 years old. The mother looked tired, maybe more tired than Marcus. The boy held her hand with hungry eyes, staring at the food on other people's tables. The woman looked around for an empty seat. But the restaurant was full. Only one seat was empty, the one in front of Marcus. She hesitated. She didn't want to disturb anyone. She held her son close and whispered, "Maybe we'll find another place, okay?" But the boy tugged her sleeve. "Mom, I'm hungry." His voice was soft but full of pain. A mother's heart breaks when she can't give her child the basic things. Marcus saw them. He didn't know why, but something inside him felt heavy. Maybe it was the boy's eyes. Maybe it was the mother's tired face. Maybe it was the loneliness he knew too well. He looked away, trying not to care. But he couldn't. The mother finally walked up to the restaurant manager, asking, "Do you have any table? My son is very hungry." The manager shook his head softly. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Everything is full right now." For a moment, the mother stood frozen, thinking what to do. The boy's stomach growled, and he held her hand tighter. She looked around desperately. Then her eyes met Marcus's. Just 1 second. But it changed everything. She didn't smile. She didn't ask. She simply walked toward Marcus with slow steps. "Excuse me," she said gently. "I know this is strange, but my son is hungry. Can we stay here for a while? Just until a table opens?" Her voice was polite but filled with embarrassment. She wasn't begging, but she was clearly worried. Marcus looked at her. He looked at the little boy. Then he looked at the empty chair. Something in his heart moved, like a locked door opening slowly after many years. But before he could answer, something unexpected happened. The boy climbed onto the chair and looked at Marcus with the same innocent eyes his daughter once had. And Marcus froze. He felt like the world stopped for a second. Marcus did not expect this moment. One minute he was sitting alone, thinking about his quiet life, and the next minute, a small boy with bright eyes was staring at him from across the table. The boy's tiny hands were on the chair, and he looked excited, not nervous at all. Marcus blinked, surprised. He hadn't seen eyes like that since his daughter, Mia, left. The mother quickly pulled her son back. "Evan, wait, don't climb yet," she whispered. But the boy ignored her. Children see kindness faster than adults. He looked at Marcus again and said in a small voice, "Are you eating alone?" Marcus tried to speak, but his throat felt stiff. Yeah. The boy smiled. Me too. But now we can eat together, right? The mother felt embarrassed. I'm so sorry. He doesn't mean to be rude. We didn't have any place to sit. Marcus looked at the boy again. Evan's smile had something pure, something Marcus had been missing for a long time. Maybe it was innocence. Maybe it was hope. Maybe both. He breathed out slowly and nodded. It's okay. He can sit. The mother's shoulders relaxed with relief. Thank you, really. I didn't want to disturb anyone. Marcus shook his head. You're not disturbing. She sat down gently and helped Evan settle into the chair. The boy looked around the table like it was an adventure. After a moment, the mother extended her hand. I'm Clara. Marcus, he replied. Clara nodded softly. She looked tired, as if life had been throwing too many challenges at her and she had no one to share them with. Marcus understood that feeling perfectly. A waiter came near their table. Would you like to order something? He asked. Clara opened her purse and looked at the small amount of money inside. She closed it quickly, hoping no one noticed, but Marcus did. We'll just take something small, Clara said quietly. Maybe fries. The boy's face dimmed. He was clearly hungrier than that. Marcus felt something heavy in his chest. He couldn't sit and watch a child eat only fries while he had a full plate in front of him. Without thinking too much, he told the waiter. Please bring them a full meal. Whatever the boy wants. Clara immediately shook her head. No, you don't have to do that. Please. It's okay, Marcus said gently. Let him eat. Evan's eyes widened with joy. Really? I can choose anything? Marcus smiled for the first time that evening. Anything. The boy looked at the menu like it was treasure. Clara looked down, hiding the emotion in her eyes. You're very kind, she whispered. Marcus didn't answer. He didn't feel like he was doing something big. He was only doing what he wished someone had done for him once, help a lonely parent. When the food arrived, Evan started eating with the excitement of a child who had been hungry for hours. Marcus watched him and felt a strange warmth. It reminded him of the old days, of Mia spilling juice on the table, laughing and talking nonstop. Clara noticed the softness in Marcus's eyes. You have a child, she asked. Marcus hesitated, then nodded. A daughter. Mia. She lives far now. Clara didn't ask more. She saw the pain in his face, the kind that didn't need explanation. For a moment, all three of them sat in silence. It wasn't awkward. It felt comfortable. Like they had known each other longer than a few minutes. Then Evan suddenly asked, Why were you eating alone? Marcus looked at his empty chair and gave a small, sad smile. Sometimes, life gives us empty seats. Evan swung his feet and said something unexpected. Well, today your seat is not empty. Clara looked at Marcus with soft eyes. I hope we're not taking someone's place. Marcus looked at them, this tired mother and her bright little boy. No, he said slowly. You're filling a place I thought would stay empty forever. But he didn't know. This meeting was only the beginning. The restaurant lights grew warmer as the evening moved ahead. Marcus sat quietly, watching Evan eat with the pure happiness only a child could have. Clara kept thanking him with her eyes every few minutes, but Marcus only gave gentle nods. He didn't like attention. He never did. For the first time in months, the table didn't feel silent. It felt alive. Evan took a big bite of his burger and said, Mom, this is so good. Marcus chose the best food. Clara smiled softly. He's been hungry since morning. We were running around the city. Hard day. Marcus didn't ask questions. He knew that tone. The tone of a parent trying to stay strong. The tone of someone who couldn't afford to break. Instead, he asked Evan. So, what were you two doing all day? Evan wiped his mouth with his sleeve, and Clara quickly corrected him with a napkin. Be polite, Evan. The boy giggled. We were looking for my dad. Marcus froze. Something inside him tightened. Clara looked down, her fingers twisting. We went to meet his father, but he didn't show up. Again. Marcus understood immediately. A promise broken by someone children should never have to chase. Evan continued eating, innocent and unaware of how heavy his words were. He said he had gifts. He said he would take me to the park. But he didn't come. Marcus felt a flash of anger, one he had felt before. He hated seeing a child disappointed. Kids deserved better. They deserved love without conditions. I'm sorry, Evan, Marcus said gently. It's okay, the boy replied quickly, forcing a smile. I have Mom. And today, I have you too. The simple sentence hit Marcus right in the heart. Clara sighed. I tried telling him not to expect too much, but... Her voice cracked a little. Kids hope anyway. Marcus nodded slowly. Yeah, they do. The waiter walked by and refilled their glasses. Evan talked about school, about a drawing he made, about wanting to be a superhero. Marcus listened carefully, enjoying the little sparks of joy the boy carried. Clara watched Marcus and noticed something unusual. He wasn't just being kind. He was connecting. Maybe even healing. After some time, Evan leaned his head on his mother's arm, tired but full. Mom. I'm sleepy. Clara brushed his hair. It's been a long day. Marcus saw the exhaustion in her eyes too. She looked like someone who had been fighting alone for too long. You live nearby? Marcus asked. Clara hesitated, unsure if she should answer. But something about Marcus felt safe, steady, honest. No, we're staying in temporary housing right now, she said quietly. Just for a while. Marcus didn't react. He didn't judge. But inside, he felt a deep respect. Single parents had a hard life. He knew that better than anyone. Evan suddenly sat up. Marcus, can I ask something? Sure. Why did you help us? Marcus looked at the empty chair beside him, the one that was always for Mia. My daughter used to sit there, he said slowly. When she left, the chair stayed empty. And I kept wondering if it would ever feel full again. Evan blinked. Does it feel full now? Marcus tried to smile. Yeah, today it does. Clara looked away, but Marcus saw her wipe a tear. Not of sadness, but relief. Maybe gratitude. Outside, the wind blew softly against the windows. People came and left. Life continued. But something on this table felt different, like three lost souls had somehow found each other for a moment. Clara checked the time. We should go. It's late. Evan yawned loudly. Can Marcus come with us? Clara blushed. Evan, don't trouble him. Marcus shook his head. He's not troubling me. The boy's smile returned instantly. Then you can come. Clara looked at Marcus, unsure. But Marcus stood up slowly. Let me walk you both outside, he said. At least until you find a ride. Clara agreed with a quiet nod. As they stepped out into the cool night, none of them knew. This walk wasn't going to be simple. It was going to change everything. The night air outside the restaurant was cold, but it felt fresh. Clara wrapped her thin jacket around herself while Evan held Marcus's hand like they had known each other for years. Marcus didn't expect that. He looked down at the small hand in his, surprised by how natural it felt. Clara smiled awkwardly. He gets attached easily. Marcus shook his head. It's okay. Kids need someone to trust. Clara didn't reply, but her eyes showed a quiet sadness. They walked down the sidewalk slowly. Streetlights glowed like small moons above them. Evan skipped between them, his energy somehow returning even though he was tired moments ago. What's your job, Marcus? Evan asked suddenly. Marcus chuckled softly. I work at a delivery company. Mostly night shifts. Night shifts? Clara repeated. Must be hard. Marcus nodded. Someone has to do them. There was no bitterness in his voice, only tired honesty. They reached the bus stop. The street was empty, except for a flickering sign. Clara looked at the schedule and sighed. Next bus is in 22 minutes. Evan groaned. That's too long. Clara sat on the cold bench, rubbing her hands together. Marcus could see she wasn't only cold, she was exhausted in ways sleep couldn't fix. Do you need a ride? Marcus asked. Clara hesitated. I don't want to trouble you. You're not, Marcus said simply. It's late. And the bus stop isn't safe at night. That last part was true. The area got rough after dark. Clara studied his face for a moment. She didn't see any danger or bad intentions, only honesty and a strange softness. Okay, she finally agreed. Thank you. Marcus led them to his old, worn-out car. The paint was fading, the seat had a tear, but inside, it was clean. Safe. Evan jumped in excitedly. Wow! It smells like cookies. Marcus laughed. That's because Mia and I used to buy cookies for our road trips. Clara smiled. Your daughter? Marcus nodded. They drove off slowly. The city lights reflected in the car windows like moving stars. Evan hummed softly in the back seat. Clara watched him through the mirror. You're good with kids, she said. Marcus kept his eyes on the road. I learned because I had to. Clara nodded. Single-parent life, it teaches you fast. For the first time, Marcus felt someone understood him without needing long explanations. After a few minutes, Clara asked quietly. Can I ask what happened? With your daughter? Marcus's hands tightened on the steering wheel. He breathed slowly before answering. My ex-wife and I, we couldn't stay together. She moved to another state for a job. Took Mia with her. I get to talk to Mia, but I don't see her much. Clara looked at him with sympathy. That must be hard. It is, Marcus admitted. Some days feel empty. Clara swallowed, remembering her own day. You're not alone in that. The car became quiet. Not uncomfortable, just full of unspoken understanding. They soon reached a small housing building, old but clean. Clara looked at Marcus. This is us. He parked and turned off the engine. Evan was half asleep now, his head leaning on Clara's arm. Marcus stepped out and opened the door for them. Clara carried Evan carefully. Thank you for everything, she said. Marcus smiled softly. You don't need to thank me. Clara stepped closer, her voice gentle. Most people don't help strangers. You did. Marcus didn't know what to say. He wasn't used to compliments. He wasn't used to being seen. Before he could respond, Evan stirred and reached out toward Marcus. Will you visit us? Clara blushed. Evan. Marcus knelt down. If your mom says yes, then I'd like to. Clara looked away, hiding a tiny smile. Maybe, yes. Marcus stood again, and Clara whispered. Good night. Good night, he replied. As he walked back to his car, he couldn't shake the feeling that something important had started tonight. But neither of them knew. Someone was watching from a distance. And that person would soon bring trouble. Marcus drove back toward his apartment, but something felt strange. The road looked the same, the streetlights were the same, yet he kept looking into the mirror again and again. He felt like someone was behind him. Not a car, but a feeling. A shadow in his mind. He shook his head. Maybe I'm overthinking. But he couldn't shake it off. When he reached home, he sat in the car for a long time, thinking about Clara and Evan. They weren't strangers to him anymore. The loneliness he carried every day, it felt lighter tonight. A small boy had filled a seat he thought would stay empty forever. He went upstairs and placed his keys on the table. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. He looked at the photo frame of Mia on his shelf, smiling with her 2 missing teeth. He whispered, "I think you would have liked Evan." His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number appeared. "Stay away from Clara." Marcus frowned. His heartbeat jumped. Who would send something like that? He texted back. "Who is this?" No reply. He tried calling the number. It went straight to voicemail. For a moment, Marcus felt the same fear a parent feels when something threatens their child. But why was someone threatening him about Clara? He barely knew her. He sat down on the couch, thinking hard. Had he seen someone at the housing building? Or at the restaurant? Someone watching? He pushed the thought aside and went to sleep. The next morning, Clara woke up early. Evan was still sleeping, curled like a small kitten. She stepped quietly into the small kitchen and boiled water for tea. Last night played in her mind like a movie, Marcus helping, Marcus driving them, Marcus being gentle. It had been a long time since someone treated her with respect instead of judgment. She looked out the window and froze. Across the street, leaning against a lamppost, was a man in a black jacket. Hands in pockets. Face hard to see. But Clara recognized the shape of his body immediately. Her breath caught. No, not again. It was Evan's father. The man who promised gifts but never showed up. The man who broke their household. The man who never paid a single quiet moment of care. Clara shut the curtain instantly. A knock sounded at the door. Her heart almost stopped. She held her breath and waited. Another knock. But this time, she heard a gentle voice. "Clara? It's me. Marcus." She exhaled, relieved. Evan woke up from the noise. "Is Marcus here?" he said excitedly. "Stay inside," Clara whispered. "Let me check." She opened the door slightly. Marcus stood there, holding a small takeaway bag. "I brought breakfast," he said shyly. "Figured you two might need a calm morning." Clara forced a smile, but Marcus noticed something in her eyes, fear. She was hiding something. "Are you okay?" he asked. Yes, I'm fine," she lied. Evan rushed to the door before she could stop him. "Marcus! You came!" Marcus knelt down and ruffled his hair. "Of course I did." But as he stood up, he noticed Clara's hand trembling slightly. He stepped inside and gently closed the door. "Clara," he said softly. "Something's wrong. Tell me." Clara swallowed hard. She didn't want to talk about it. But hiding danger never protects anyone. "There was someone outside," she whispered. "Someone I know." "Who?" She hesitated. "Evan's father." Marcus felt his jaw tighten. "He came here?" Marcus asked quietly. "He always shows up. Not to see Evan, but to check where we are. I don't know what he wants. He hasn't helped us in months. He just appears." Marcus felt something familiar rising inside him, protectiveness. "Clara, if he's troubling you." A loud bang sounded from outside. All three froze. Marcus went to the window. The man in the black jacket was now walking toward the building, slowly, deliberately. Clara's voice cracked. "He can't come here. Not today." Marcus stepped back, eyes hardening. "Clara," he said firmly, "take Evan inside." "What about you?" she whispered. Marcus didn't answer. He only looked at the door, jaw set, heart steady. Because he knew. If trouble was coming for Clara and Evan, it would have to get past him first. The footsteps outside grew louder. Heavy. Slow. Like someone walking with purpose. Marcus stood still, his eyes fixed on the door. Clara held Evan close, her hands shaking harder with every passing second. "Mama, who is it?" Evan whispered. Clara kissed his forehead. "It's okay, baby. Stay with me." But nothing felt okay. Marcus quietly moved toward the entrance. He wasn't afraid, not for himself. But he was terrified of what this man could do to Clara and Evan. He had heard enough stories. Seen enough broken parents. Felt enough heartbreak to understand the danger inside silence. A voice came from outside, deep, rough, and full of arrogance. "Clara! Open the door." Clara's breath froze. Evan hid behind her. Marcus placed a steady hand on the doorknob and looked back at Clara. "Do you want me to talk to him?" he asked. Clara shook her head quickly. "No, he gets angry. He doesn't listen. He thinks he owns us." Marcus's jaw clenched. "No one owns you." Another bang at the door. "I said open it." Clara flinched. Evan started crying softly. Marcus stepped in front of both of them. "Take him to the bedroom. Don't come out until I call you." Clara hesitated. "Marcus, please be careful." He nodded. She grabbed Evan and hurried into the bedroom, shutting the door quietly. Marcus exhaled slowly, gathering every ounce of calm he had left. Then he opened the front door, just enough to step outside. The man in the black jacket stood there, eyes sharp and angry. "Who the hell are you?" the man barked. Marcus didn't respond immediately. He observed him, the unsteady posture, smell of alcohol, the aggression. A dangerous combination. "I'm a friend," Marcus finally said. "Clara doesn't want trouble." The man laughed harshly. "Friend? Is that what she's calling men now? New boyfriend?" Marcus kept his voice steady. "I'm here because she was scared. That should tell you something." The man pushed forward, chest out. "Move. I need to see my son." "No," Marcus said calmly. "You don't get to shout at them. Not today." The man narrowed his eyes. "Are you her protector now? Some hero? You don't know anything about us." "I know enough," Marcus replied. "I know you don't show up when your son needs you. Only when you want control." The man's anger flared. He shoved Marcus hard. "Get out of my way." Marcus stumbled but kept his balance. "You need to leave." "No," the man growled. "I'm not leaving without seeing them." Marcus straightened his shoulders. "You're not going inside." The man swung his fist suddenly. Marcus dodged, barely. The punch hit the doorframe with a loud crack. "Stop," Marcus said firmly. "This isn't the way." But the man didn't stop. He swung again, yelling incoherent threats. Marcus blocked the attack, pushing him back but not harming him. He didn't want violence. He wanted safety. Inside, Clara held Evan tightly, praying Marcus wouldn't get hurt. The man tried charging again, but this time Marcus grabbed his arms and pinned him against the wall. "Think!" Marcus shouted. "You're scaring your own child. Is this the father you want to be?" The man froze. For a moment, his anger flickered, replaced by shame. His breathing slowed. His eyes softened just enough to show something human. Marcus released him gently. "Go home," Marcus said quietly. "Clara doesn't hate you. But Evan needs peace. Not fear." The man stepped back slowly, looking confused, defeated, and deeply tired. He didn't say a single word. He simply turned and walked away down the street, his shadow shrinking under the streetlights. Marcus waited until he disappeared before going back inside. Clara opened the bedroom door the moment she heard Marcus's footsteps. "Is he gone?" she whispered. Marcus nodded. She let out a shaky breath and hugged him, without thinking, without fear, without words. Evan hugged his legs too. Marcus wrapped his arms around both of them. "You're safe," he said softly. "I'm here." Clara pulled back, tears in her eyes. "Why did you do all this for us?" Marcus looked at Evan, then at her. "Because your seat at my table wasn't empty. And maybe mine wasn't empty either." Clara smiled through her tears. For the first time in a long time, all three of them felt like a family. Not planned. Not forced. Just fate. And sometimes, fate begins with a single simple question. Can we stay a while?